Indeed, where are we going at a point when we've been told to expect fuel prices to hit almost 11 cities or even more as at this morning? This is the big issue. It's time for us to discuss what is making the headlines all across the country and even beyond. And I hope that you're still watching TV3Newday. We're also live on DSTV channel 279. We're streaming live on Facebook at TV3 and also on Twitter and Instagram. Please tell your people to watch and follow. Joining me in the studios this morning, I have Comrade Murtala Mohammed. He's the MP for Tamale Central, and he's here this morning. How are you, Comrade?
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. And you?
I'm good, thank you very much. I was in the north over the weekend, yes.
Oh, okay, where specifically?
I was in Tamale.
Oh, okay,
yes,
I see.
I had some work to do in Tamale, so I stayed
I was
in
Tamale. You didn't look for me.
I'm so sorry. You know, I thought about getting in touch, but I thought you might have too many things to do.
I see.
So, yeah.
I was there with Manasseh.
Okay.
And Moment, there was this program I was invited to.
Oh, I see.
The National Media Dialogue.
Ah.
You know, in this era of fake news, organized by zirakwabagh.com. It was well attended.
It was.
Well attended.
It was.
It was.
I'm just worried about the slow pace of development in the northern region, even up until now.
Yeah.
I mean, the north is known to produce a number of our grains.
Yeah.
And also even shea butter, which is a major export product. And so I was just worried to see that the people who were toiling to produce these products live in such abject poverty.
Yeah.
For me, it worried me a lot. And I just didn't understand why our leaders for a long time haven't done much to develop that side of the country.
Well, that is why the northern people will always be thankful to Nkrumah, thankful to Rawlings, and thankful to Mahama, I must say. Because if you look at the road infrastructure that we are enjoying in the north, majority of those roads infrastructure, apart from what Nkrumah did, at least in the Fourth Republic, was done by Rawlings and President Mahama. And I'll give you just classical examples. If you look at the stretch of the route from Kintampo to Paga, including the Tamale town routes and the Bolga town routes, were all done under President Rawlings. I don't think that there is any road infrastructure that is longer than that road between Kintampo to Paga. That is the border, the end of Ghana, and which included the town routes of these two cities, Tamale and Bolga. So you see that within Tamale Township, the road network is solid.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the feeder roads are things that we do not have much, and that is where you have this food coming from. Under President Mahama, you had a lot of infrastructure, the hospitals, because the health need of the people was a tremendous challenge. You've seen what happened in the Tamale Teaching Hospital, the upgradement of the other hospitals, and a lot of feeder routes were done. A classical one has to do with the Eastern Corridor. The Eastern Corridor was geared towards shortening the time of travel. If you use the Eastern Corridor, let's say with a Land Cruiser or a very strong car, even at this stage, you can spend about 5-6 hours to get to Tamale. But if the road is completed, you would spend about 3, maximum 4 hours to Tamale or to Bolga. And this included the Karaga, the Nantong Karaga route. I mean, this was something that was going to, but unfortunately, they were all abandoned for almost 5 years. So it is our hope that something is done. We have been told about the overhead, the bypass in Tamale. I don't think that is really the interest of the people. That is what they want.
Not needed at the moment?
Yes, it is not, considering the fact that even access roads are unavailable in Tamale. If you have the bypass, I'm not saying it's not good, don't get me wrong, it is. But between that and access routes, between that and feeder routes within the other adjacent communities to Tamale, I think that the people would take the latter. So I'm saying that government could have done that and again focus and continue with some of the feeder routes infrastructure that President Mahama started.
All right. Well, we'll be talking about fuel prices and the fact that it is likely to hit 11 cedis per litre as at today. And so if you're going to buy fuel today, in fact, yesterday Cookie mentioned that she tried buying fuel and they signaled her that there was no fuel available. For a number of these fuel stations as well, they have also taken the price off their display board, and I'm sure that they're waiting to see what the prices will be today. But it's likely, per the NPA petroleum price indicators, it says that diesel is likely to increase by 30.41%. So you're going to buy diesel for 10 cedis, 72 pesos. Petrol will increase by 18.25%. That's going to move from 8.22 cedis per litre to 9.72 per litre, and LPG a 23% increase from 9.8 Ghana cedis per kilogram to 12.04 Ghana cedis per kilogram. And in fact, COPEC has been talking. They're saying that they're going to hit the streets by Friday if government does not cushion Ghanaians with regards to the increase in fuel prices. The bulk oil distributors are also complaining. They're saying that one of the major reasons why fuel prices are going up is because of the fast depreciation of the Ghana cedi. So for an additional insight into why the declining price of crude oil on the world market is not reflecting at the pumps in Ghana, well, we reached out to the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senior Hosi, and this is what he had to say.
Yes, you may have seen a dip, but we don't price on a daily basis based on the world market. But we may price and change prices within a window more driven by changes in the exchange rate, because that is a real-time factor and you have to make provisions for it. So it's good that we are seeing a drop thanks to all kinds of geopolitical movements, and in all honesty there's been unnecessary speculation on the market by traders who have taken advantage of it. But that immediate drop will not immediately translate. So these benefits you are seeing after the 11th of March will only reflect in our market come April 1st.
All right, and that is Senior Hosi. He's the CEO of the Chamber for Bulk Oil Distributors. Joining us this morning as well is Dennis Miracles of Boaji. And, well, he's been appointed as, well, the Director for Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development as the President. He says I should make it short. Presidential staffer. Good morning.
Good morning, Bella.
How are you doing?
Oh, we're good. God has been good, so.
We haven't seen you since your appointment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, that's strange.
He wasn't chopping.
That's strange. He wasn't chopping.
Now that he has succeeded in breaking through the bandage.
So he has forgotten us.
Chop.
You're chopping the money alone.
But I'm here this morning.
After 4 weeks.
He called me last night that he was coming.
I never did.
He called me last night that I should join him.
Congratulations on
I
your
take all the
appointment,
mentorship from him every morning.
I see. Congratulations. How's it going so far?
Oh, I mean, it's only a privilege that you are called upon to, contribute your quota towards the development of the state. So we call for grace and God's mercies, so we can also do our part. That's all. Even
before we get into the fuel conversation, I just wanted to pick your thoughts. Since you are working at the presidency with regards to rural development, I was in the northern region over the weekend, and development has been very slow, barely existent. And I'm talking about the livelihood of people who live in the communities, especially even Tamale, and this is supposed to be a major, exactly. And if you look at the way people live, it's as if they still live in, the historical era. There's no development. Education is really low for a number of people there as well. And for a lot of them, they live in abject poverty. That is what I noticed.
I think we as a nation has been working towards reducing poverty across the country, and not just one particular area. Of course, if we pick our map, it's obvious that we've had some developments queuing towards certain areas than others, and I'm glad you sort of clarified, because initially when you said development has been slow, I was a bit taken aback, but it's something that we're working towards as a state. I mean, not just in Tamale. Even if you drive 30-40 minutes away from Greater Accra, Accra, towards Shayo Sudoku, you'd realize that yes, we still have some citizens living in difficulty and poverty, and so it's something that we all continuously need to put our minds to it and drive towards reducing this thing. There are certain fundamentals that need to be put in place to be able to move such communities of that grade. So long as we continue to have programs like Livelihood Empowerment Program, LEAP, which is supposed to support extreme poor people, then it tells me that nobody can contest the point you are making. But that is why certain critical interventions are important in these areas. It will take a while. It's not going to be a 9-day wonder for you to simply get people out of that situation. You need to provide them with quality education. You need to provide them with quality health care. These two things would ensure that in about 10-15 years, the level of enlightenment will be elevated, the skill level will be elevated, and then they'll be able to be a bit more productive for themselves. They need to get water, they need to get electricity, You know, these are things that I think that we need to continuously strive for. I don't know which part of Tamale you went to, but even if you go beyond there, you know, another Mutala
went to Sorobo.
Yes, it's even far. Come to the eastern region, go to Greater Accra, central region, Bronga Hafo, almost every region that you enter, there are certain sects of our population that really require our urgent attention, and that is what, for me, local government and rural development is meant to do. And so we need to work towards improving that sector so that governance and development can get very, very, very close. If you remember, in 2016, that would be my last point,
Make it brief,
when we were discussing projects and development across the country, and some of us were making strong arguments against trivializing projects like boreholes and toilet facilities and, you know, little chips compounds. These things make a lot of difference in the lives of the rural communities. And so if you're in Accra and probably you see a community with a borehole and they having fanfares, you'd be wondering, what is this? But for those communities, Mutala will agree that it makes a lot of difference. And we need to push more of such things into such areas so that they can also get to the level that
All
we
right,
are.
let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Just 30 seconds. The sad aspects of it is, and I'm happy he is the one making this comment because he has been a DCE before. Ask him. The whole of last year, not a single quarter of common fund was released to any district assembly in this country.
No, that's not correct.
Please. Not one. Not one. And I challenge you to prove me wrong and shame me. Not even one. MPs, the whole of last year, only one quarter was released. I mean, come on. One quarter. And in fact, that one quarter which was released, government had to go in for loan to release that to MPs. And that is why our position was that you can't release one quarter for us and you don't release even a quarter for district assemblies. The reason why they can't speak out, because privately you meet these MMDCs, they complain. They can't speak out because you dare speak out and then you are sacked. He knows too well, and this is not something
that they speak out and they're sacked.
Of course.
Why would they be sacked for speaking out? They have not received their funds.
Come on. I mean, this country, we are not being ruled like a democracy. The president rules us like a king. I'm saying that you can't speak out. We have seen teachers who have even spoken out against the inadequacy of certain things they need in their schools, and they've been transferred. I am surprised that he sits here and then he says that it was not true that they were released. Not even a single quarter. Not if they were released. Tell me how much. Not a single quarter.
Let me quickly
let's
correct
do 10
this. No, but it's important. I think this topic is a very, very
because
important.
the reason why it's important because what you have seen, a lot of these districts, these districts don't have any capacity to generate any money.
Okay, so Bella,
I mean, the bigger
in.
metropolitan municipal assembly, and I have had the position that we should insulate them even from the common fund. They have the capacity to generate money. Go to a district like Nantong district. They have nothing, virtually nothing. So there are a lot of districts who are holding cap, waiting for common fund to be released. When you haven't released even a single quarter, how can they improve the living conditions?
So it's important that sometimes some of these things we put it in the holistic, picture. So it is not only the common fund that district assemblies develop their communities with. You have the district assembly common fund, you have the internally generated fund, you have the district development funds, what we recently call DPARTs, and then you have several other interventions. Some districts have the social safety net program, some districts have the Ghana Secondary Cities program. For example, Boko. Boko, I think Boko is in your area.
No.
Boko in 2019 received close to they received 5 million Ghana cedis. 5 million Ghana cedis under the Ghana Secondary Cities projects for developmental programs. In 2020, Boko received 5.8 million. Now, I tell you what.
What did they use the money for?
Please, let me just explain. So, in 2019 and 2020, Boko Municipal Assembly has received a cumulative amount of about 11 million.
Okay.
This is an amount of money that even the common fund for 10 years will not give you that much. Common fund.
How much is the common fund?
Quarterly is about 280,000. Even I, as a municipality in the Kuapem North.
But I see answering the question.
No, please. Common fund in the Kuapem North. In my entire 4 years in the Kuapem North, I didn't receive, if you put it all together per quarter, it's not more than 4 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Because you're receiving an average of 250,000. Okay? And yet, the district development fund gave me close to about 1 million Ghana cedis every year. So even if I haven't received my common fund in 2020, Boko, In 2020, they received 5.8 million Ghana cedis. In 2019, they received 5 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
You understand? They have the IGF. Okay, they have the D part and all these,
So these are the ones, apart from the internally generated revenue.
Yes.
The others, where are they from?
Coming from?
They come from different sources. For example, the Ghana Security City Program. It comes from the World Bank, and it's part of it's a Ghana government fund that they are giving to the assemblies to work with.
Does it come as a loan?
No, please let me explain. So the point
does
is
it come as a loan?
Yes,
by the way?
yes.
So we have
and
to
it's for
pay
development.
that.
And it's for development. Okay. So the point is that if you sit on TV and you say that because they haven't received the common fund, that is why there's no development going on there. That is erroneous. Because in fact, with the sources of funding that the districts have, the common fund is the least, it's the smallest in terms of how much comes to them. Like I told you, the average is about 250, 280,000 Ghana cedis. That is true. I have been MCE. You can verify from everywhere. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. In fact, that was even the highest. If you compare it to the past...
In your district,
yes.
What was the D part amounts that you received, or you were able to raise?
800,000. Usually they are based on several factors, and then it's computed and then it's disbursed to you. But I've received 800,000 before. I've received 1.2 million cedis before. I think 700,000 before.
And all these amounts, what did you use it for?
I mean, for 2018, we used this to build a chips compound in Obosomase and a chips compound in Okrase. We've put up rehabilitated the health center in Latte. There's a road, a town road in a Kropon that is being opened up. So that these are some of the things you use.
The World Bank.
These are some of the things you use these funds for. But the fact remains that it is completely false, completely erroneous for anybody to put it out there that district assemblies only live on common funds.
Who says that? Nobody said that here.
For which reason?
Don't please.
I said for everybody.
But hold on.
You are reacting, Bella. You are reacting to a statement I made. What you succeeded in doing, in exposing yourself, the more. What you have just done is embarrassingly exposing yourself the more.
How so?
I made specific statement. I said first and foremost that not a single common fund was released. You said no, that is not true. It means that you are doubting the statement that common fund was indeed not released. The second one was that I said a lot of these districts depends on common fund. They have no any other source of funding. Then he came, look, let me tell you, the World Bank issues he's talking about. These are specific targeted World Bank funded projects. Specific targeted. How many districts or metropolitan or municipal assemblies in Ghana will enjoy that? We are talking about a common fund, and he says that it is not true that district assemblies rely on common fund. I haven't said that anyway, but I can tell you that majority of the district assemblies rely on common fund. In fact, please, and for the avoidance of doubt, my thesis was on local government. And I have worked with the local government long before you. I have an appreciation of what goes in there, and I served in committees that deal with this. Majority of the district assemblies were actually depend on district assembly common fund. I'm saying majority of them.
Majority, and I'm saying that majority of them depend on that only.
The reason is that they simply don't have any source of funding. In fact, the internal generated funds is nothing to write home about. And I can tell you, go to Nantong, go to Savlugu, go to some of the districts and ask them how much do they generate a month as a result of internal generated funds. They may not even get 5,000 Ghana cedis. So please, let's be very truthful.
But you had said something earlier that we should find a way.
Bella, he was challenging the statement. He was challenging the statement. First of all, he challenged the statement that common fund has not been released. And I'm saying that not a single quarter has been released. And I've also stated that even MP's common fund that augment or complement the works that they do at the assemblies, just 1 quarter has been released. Now he said that is not true. So the expectation, I believe, of your viewing public was that he was going to tell me that no, 2 quarters or 3 quarters have been released. I am still waiting for response. The other one is that I said a lot of the district assemblies, if you look at the IGF, it's nothing to write home about. They virtually don't get anything. You remember, I didn't even stop there. I said that I am a proponent of the fact that let's insulate some of the metropolitan and municipal assemblies from this, so that the monies that come could be redistributed among the district that internal generated.
So that those who are getting the D part and all these other funds will not have to rely on it.
They are specific. They are specific World Bank projects.
I understand.
So don't bring it there.
So if you are saying insulate them, hold on, Dennis. If you're saying insulate them, does it mean that so these other districts who are able to generate internal revenue and also rely on the D part and all that, they would not need the district
the
assembly
D
common
part,
fund. Is that what
for
you're saying?
example, the D part is talking about. For example, there's water crisis in Tamale. Bella, I had to provide about 25 mechanized boreholes as the MP, and it is not even adequate. Now, the government can request right through the World Bank. We have this challenge, and we need that support. World Bank would assess it, and World Bank would say that we are releasing this amount of money for this specific project.
Okay.
World Bank is not releasing it for the 260 districts across the country.
Okay.
They release it for specific. I want to ask him.
I'll let you
want to
come in,
ask him,
Dennis.
between last year and this year, what of that money was released? So people cannot be relying on World Bank, which seldom
But he
comes
just
anyway.
gave us
when he was
statistics for
there,
Boku.
I am saying
he even talked about Boku and how much they
but
have
Boku
released.
alone is not. I'm saying we have 260 districts. So every district assembly, no matter what funding they get for execution of their projects from any World Bank or EU or whatever, the first line of survival is the district assembly common fund.
All right.
So what are you
Dennis,
talking about?
So Bella, first of all, I want to put it on record that last year there were two quarters of common fund released to the district.
That is
assembly.
not
all
true.
the
Number two,
districts.
yes.
That is
number
a
two.
lie.
All
That is
districts.
a
Yes,
bare
yes.
Hold on.
lie.
All districts
Yes,
received
yes.
two
That's a lie.
quarters.
Common fund, when you're releasing it you release it to the
When
districts.
exactly did they
When?
I will not be
receive
able
it?
to
That
give
is
you
not
the
even
exact
true.
figure.
He's
Number
lying.
two, can you stop this?
It's not true.
Can you
Comrade,
stop
please
this?
allow him to
Can you
speak.
stop this? I sat down and listened
But you
to
don't have the exact time at
Yeah,
which
but
these funds were released.
Yes, I can't give you the exact dates. Number
But
two,
you are sure that they
yes,
were
I am sure.
released to
Yes, I'm
all
sure.
districts
Yes, number
in
two.
this country?
Yes, number two.
It's just dawned on him
Oh,
now
can I-
to make
can I-
that statement.
Why are you doing this?
Proceed.
Dennis, carry on.
Number two. So the district, the D part, is not a World Bank directed a fund as to telling the people what they should use it for. Let me tell you why.
Nobody
it's
said that.
No, that's what you're saying. You
I
said the
haven't
World
said
Bank.
that. I haven't
Why are you
said
doing
that.
this?
Have I said that?
Comrade, please allow him
Don't
to speak.
misrepresent me.
Comrade,
I haven't
please allow
said
him.
that. What
Allow
I
him.
said.
No,
what I
so you want to take their time again?
No, but don't misrepresent me.
Okay.
Oh, what you're doing this
don't,
morning is so
Understood.
Don't
unfair.
say things
So,
that
No,
you
that's
said.
exactly
D
what you
part is
said.
not from World
I
Bank.
never
Is that what you're saying?
No, what I said was, and that's why I said, don't misrepresent.
So allow him
but
to
Bella,
speak
but why?
then.
Why
Allow
do
him
you
to
do this?
speak.
Okay,
I want us to move away from
No,
this topic.
you-
Yeah,
by
but
the
he
way.
shouldn't misrepresent
Allow him to
what
speak.
I
Comrade,
said.
please.
I didn't say
Please,
that.
allow him.
Honorable Tala,
Dennis,
what
please
you're doing
carry
this
on.
morning is completely
Dennis,
unfair.
would you want me
Dennis,
to?
carry on.
But don't say
Comrade,
Should I
things.
speak
Comrade,
or I should give you the whole day?
Allow him. Allow him.
I am
please.
saying that when the funds are being released to the districts, the districts are requested to submit what they call the work plan. So you develop your work plan saying that this amount of money that has been allocated to my district, 1 million. I want to use 200,000 to build this school. I want to use 50,000 to construct this road. I want to use 30,000 to build this water system. And then based on that, the funds will be released to you and then you execute those projects. That is the RFGD part that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And these funds goes to the district assembly as part of the funding sources that they can use for their development. Number two, that is not the only thing. There are some municipalities and district assemblies who receive additional funding. And I gave you that of Boko. If you go to East Gonja, that is in this area.
That's
In
not my area. You don't even know my area.
in 2020,
You sent me from
they
Boko to
received
East
in excess
Gonja.
of about 4 million
Okay.
for development programs in the area. And so the point I am making is that the district assemblies and the municipalities and the metropolitan assemblies, they have several other sources of funding that goes in to develop the area. And that indeed, as a matter of fact, without any controversy around it, with all the sources of funding that they receive, the district assembly common fund is the smallest and the least.
Okay.
Do you know how much a 6-unit classroom block costs?
Okay.
1/4 of a district assembly common fund cannot even put up a 6-unit classroom block in the district. Check.
It cannot.
It cannot.
It's not true.
Oh, I am telling you that
cannot?
it cannot.
It's not
I am
There are
telling you
about
that he don't know. He
280,000 that
doesn't
you
know what he's
mentioned.
talking about.
There are about 280,000 that you mentioned cannot
It cannot.
put up.
280,000 cannot put up a 6-unit classroom block anywhere in Ghana.
That is not true.
Anywhere in Ghana, a 6-unit classroom block anywhere in Ghana.
That is not
And so, for example, if you are receiving even 2/4 of common fund, you are getting an average of about 500,000. And so these other sources of funding, which are there, they have been released to the district assemblies and the
seriously?
municipalities.
You're saying it
are
is
being
not
used,
enough.
Are being
They're not
used.
even being released. Don't
Why?
allow
So,
him to
so,
stop
so,
you.
so
Stop-
hold
stop
on. You're
disrupting me.
saying it
Stop
was
it.
released as at
You are
October.
not being
As at
truthful.
October 2021,
Dennis,
it
stop
was
disrupting
said
me.
that
What you're doing
government
is
owed
unfair. It's
about
completely
2
unfair.
billion Ghana cedis district assemblies common fund, and it's dated back to 2019. So it says 2019, the amount that was owed was 700 million Ghana cedis per the Auditor General's report. In 2020, the Ministry of Finance was owing the district assembly common fund over 587 million Ghana cedis, and in 2021, nothing had been paid as at October 2021.
You are talking about release.
No.
We are talking about releases.
But you are saying
and
that.
You are talking about
no,
cumulatives.
hold on. You are saying that about 2/4 of it was released last year. And I'm just telling you that as at 2021 October, nothing had been released. That's why I want the specific time when
I'll
it
check
was
the specific
released.
times and give to you.
So that you can
But
put it out
they
for
had
people
releases.
to know.
I'll give you the specific times. I'll find it and send it to you. But the way releases. But the point remains that the District Assembly Common Fund, the IGF, and the other sources of funding that goes to the district are all there in the kitty for the District Assembly to use for the development of the people. And so if, for example, Boko, which I've given you specific figures,
Can you give us figures for other places as well? Do you have that?
Yes, I have other places. I can give you other places
Do you have
as well.
Nantong?
Do you have
No, I can give you the ones that I readily
Where
refer
else do
to.
you
For
have?
example, Brekum. In 2019, Brekum received 7.6 million. In 2020, they received 6.8 million. And let me tell you something. Brekum used the 7.6 million to do the following projects: the construction of 7 number 20 unit stores, a police post, passenger waiting area, a ticketing room, paving of 8,200 meters square of a lorry park, supply and installation of 30 normal galvanized street light poles in Brekum. Number 2, this is the second project they use it for: construction of 60 normal lockable stores, 1 health post, 1 fire post, and 10-seater WC toilets. Number 3, surfacing of the Brekum Thursday Market roads, 1.35 kilometers. This is what they used the 2019 release for.
How much was it again?
It was 7.6 million.
7.6 million.
Yes. Let me take you to 2020, 6.8 million. That is Brekum East. Construction of 754 million. Why, please, let me give you the
carry
facts.
on.
Construction of 745 meters of the British Inn Junction road and provision of street lights on that road. Number 2, construction of a 2-story 40-unit lockable stores, a banking hall, office, and external works at Brekum.
And all these are in use at the moment?
I'll give you the status of all of them. Number 3, construction of a 2-story 48-unit lockable store and external works at Brekum.
Okay.
So this is funds that Brekum East received under the GSCP, the Ghana Secondary City Program. So this is not common fund. This is not.
So where is this money from?
Ghana City Secondary Cities Program.
Okay.
It's a government of Ghana money. It is a government of Ghana money.
From where?
What is it from where? What do you mean?
So
It's
they are able to give this money
from World Bank.
hold on.
Please. You know
So
that
this is money from Ghana, not from maybe a World Bank or any other
No, it's
external
government of Ghana money. They probably took it from the World Bank or wherever. But it's government of Ghana money. It's not a loan. It's not a grant.
It's not a grant.
No, it's not a grant. It is government of Ghana money.
But it came from somewhere else.
Yes, but the District Assembly Common Fund comes from somewhere.
So is it a grant or a loan?
Where the District Assembly Common Fund
is it a grant or a loan? That money.
No, but that's what he's asking.
Why don't you do that?
No, hold on.
Where does the government of Ghana
Dennis,
the District Assembly Common Fund?
Is it a grant or loan?
You are saying
it is not a grant.
It is not a grant. Is it a
no,
loan?
it's a loan from government of Ghana.
So we're paying back for it.
But why? The District Assembly Common Fund, where does it come from?
Bella.
Okay.
No, please don't distract me.
Gentlemen,
No. I have given you facts.
Hold on, what facts?
He's
No,
putting out
you are not
figures.
going to interrupt me. I'm not done.
He's putting out figures.
You're not going to do that. You did that the
Hold
first
on.
time.
He gave us some figures. If you want to contest it, I'll give you the chance to. But
No,
hold on.
you're not going to speak.
Hold on.
You are not about releases of
You are not
common
going to
fund.
speak
Hold
again.
on.
You are given the opportunity
Hold on,
to speak your view in public.
Comrade, allow him to speak, please.
Today you have that
Allow him
discussion
to
on this
speak.
program.
Land
Today,
on this for
I will
me.
give
We
you
have
the
to
space
move on.
to receive the view in public. It won't
I have
happen.
given you the figures.
What facts?
I can give you that of East Gonja. I can give you that.
We don't need all those
All I
details
am saying
anymore.
is that these are funds that have gone to the district assemblies, okay, for them to use to develop the district. And I've given you specifically
If we
projects.
received these funds, why are we not able to receive funds to be able to give to the
That is
district
why I'm
assemblies
telling
for
you,
the
because there are
common fund?
different sources of all the funds.
So what is delaying?
Please stop it.
What is
There are
delaying the
different-
release of the
You
district
can't
assembly
regulate
common
that.
fund?
But that one, I will not be able to respond to that now. But the point is that.
But you work at the
irrespective of-
presidency and
I don't
local
I'm not the
government
finance
A
development.
desperate attempt
No,
to
it's part
deceive
of it.
the view in
So
public.
should you not have that
I am not
information?
the finance minister. The law says that the finance minister receives all the taxes of the country and then takes 5% of that money
from
and
the
then
district.
There's a calculation.
Why are you doing this?
You are deceiving
Dennis,
the public.
land
That's
and
no
let's
problem.
move
Why
on.
are you doing this? And then disburses to the district. And then there are other sources of funding for the district assembly. As we speak, the district assemblies, like I've given you for Brekum East, received almost a cumulative of about 11 million for the 2 years to develop their areas. And I've given you the specific projects that they are using these fundings for. You understand what I'm saying? That is not to say, that does not in any way negate the issue that you raised about abject poverty in some places in the country.
But are the districts
But
really
that's-
getting this 5%?
Yeah.
Because we know that some of them have been capped.
What?
Some of them have been capped, so some of the districts are not exactly getting the 5%.
What are you changing the discussion?
No, I'm not. I'm asking you. You're talking about you raised the 5%.
I will change the discussion.
Okay,
But the capping is done in
5%
Parliament.
is supposed to be for all internally generated
yes,
funds,
and then
right?
it's capped in Parliament.
Yes, but then
So if it's
if you've capped those amounts, so does that mean that some of the districts are not getting the 5%?
All the districts receive a certain amount of money based on a formula that is approved in Parliament.
But are they not supposed to get 5% of everything that is
How many
internally
districts in
But
generated?
it's determined in Parliament. It is determined in
Bella,
Parliament. The
Bella.
formula,
Who took the proposal to Parliament?
the finance minister.
Okay.
So when it goes to Parliament, Parliament has the room to approve or disapprove.
But the finance minister did this on behalf of government.
Once Parliament, yes, and so once Parliament approves, it is that formula every year. Once Parliament approves, it is that formula that is used to disburse the funds to the districts. So for me, it's important that we establish these fundamentals that it is not the District Assembly Common Fund alone, which is fact, that district relies on to develop their district. And
Okay.
that's indeed.
Bella,
The
can you
other
ask me
sources
one
of funding are
thing?
even
You've
more,
been talking too much.
way more than the
Bella,
District Assembly Common Fund.
Gentlemen, we have to move on.
This
We
gentleman
have to
has
move
been
on.
given space to deceive your viewing public. Today, I won't allow him to do that. We are talking, look, you have your kids. You give the kids job money to go to school every day. And then the kids goes to school, and there's someone, a philanthropist, on the way who gives the kids money again. When you give them job money, which is statutory payment.
It is not
Hold on,
philanthropy.
please.
Hold on.
Oh, please,
Hold on.
please.
No, you
Hold
shouldn't
on.
give that.
Dennis,
Oh, I'm
he's just giving a scenario.
This is an
Hold
analogy.
on. Hold
Hey,
on.
hold on. Today, you see, Bella,
You've
today.
lost it.
Let him land. Let him land.
Today,
Let him land.
He won't have the opportunity to
Dennis,
deceive
when he
your
was
public.
doing that to you, you weren't happy.
Bella,
But you are doing
Bella,
that to him
today,
too.
you see,
Philanthropy.
you
Hold
see,
on.
So if you have a philanthropist who thinks that, okay, I like this kid, okay, then the philanthropist give the kids money once in a while. Between the monies given to the kid by the philanthropist and the one which you give your child, which is compulsory, your moral duty and a responsibility to give the child, which one is important?
That's
Let me
But
finish.
a philanthropist
Let me finish.
will not give you the money and expect you to pay back.
Hold on.
It's not happening in Ghana.
He
That's
just
right.
admitted here it's
That
a
is a
loan.
lie.
He just
Yes, he
admitted.
says it's a loan.
Bella.
So a philanthropist will give it to you for
Bella,
free.
No, Bella, what I'm saying is that,
No.
no, I'm not talking of
Philanthropy is
freeness
charity.
or not
Philanthropy is
freeness.
charity.
I'm not talking of freeness
Then
or
don't
not.
use philanthropy.
I'll still make my
Don't use
point anyway. We've
philanthropy.
been exposed
Dennis,
today.
Dennis.
Today,
You are-
Dennis, gentlemen,
Bella,
otherwise we're going to end this conversation.
Bella, you see, that's their strategy.
Dennis, hold
when
on.
they find it, you see, it's an admission of a defeat of the debate. So allow me
How?
to make my point.
No, but
when
if
we
you
were talking
say philanthropy-
I'm saying it's an analogy.
You
I'm
are
saying that,
lying.
Bella.
No, but that is
Bella,
giving money for free. But in this
it's
case,
just
we're paying
Bella,
back.
It's just a scenario. I'm
Okay.
giving.
The scenario is wrong.
I'm saying
Okay.
that the money, which is the moral duty and the responsibility of the parent to give, which you must give for me to go to school, whether a philanthropist or a loan or a grant anybody gives me out there, this is what is important.
Yeah.
Because this one is a statutory payment. You are compelled by law to give me that money. You haven't given me. And you sit on this program and then you tell me that, oh no, the district will just have to apply. Why is it that other districts are not applying? Let me tell you, every district has what we call the development plan. Please, I want to educate you.
Dennis, please hold
I will
on.
school you if you do not know. You
Dennis,
have been there for 4 years.
Dennis,
He has no idea what
Dennis,
he's talking about.
you
It's a
cannot
Bella.
interject.
You have a district development
Please.
plan.
I will.
You see, monies that before government of Ghana goes in for a loan from the World Bank or any other money that you are talking about, government of Ghana would have known what the priorities are. Every district has what they call the district development plan. So within a region, you have a comprehensive development plan of all districts within the region. I just gave you an example. There is an acute water shortage in Tamale. Now, I even filed a question for the Minister of Water and to answer.
yeah.
If government sees that this water problem within Tamale Metropolitan Assembly is a key problem, we may not have the funds to execute that. Government of Ghana can rely on some of this funding to be able to execute that project. In any case, when you mention the total amount of money of the project, it comes in bits.
Yeah.
Now, we are talking about taxes you have taken. Common fund is calculated based on the revenue that the government generates. A percentage of that revenue is given to district and metropolitan assembly to factor into the decentralization program entirely. It's a statutory fund. Government has, it is illegal for government to refuse to release the money when the monies have been, in fact, the law even says the time within which government should release the money.
Yeah.
Now, these monies are not being released. Then he mentioned 2 or 3 districts and says that they have executed these projects. We are talking about 160 districts that we are talking about in this country. Faintly, he has mentioned Boku, mentioned other districts. We are talking about the complaints. In fact, district assemblies and DCEs will be very, very angry. Will be very, very angry
he says
at
they've
you.
released it, by the way.
He's lying.
2 quarters.
Absolutely
Bella,
lying.
let me tell you something
Bella, if they release it, Bella, if they release it, they have. I just told you that the MPs Common Fund, they release 1 quarter, and I can tell you even the Committee for Local Government held a press conference several times and demanded Honorable Neelanti for several occasions release the District Assembly Common Funds. We talk with these DCs. We have discussions with them. They can't talk.
They have not received it.
They can't. And he sits here without any fear, with alacrity and proud, and lie to the people of this country that it has been
Dennis,
released.
land on this for me.
I said I take my mentorship from Honorable Mutala.
You don't take any.
I like. Stop with that.
Why do you like him?
I like his confidence with which he puts out certain things. And he says it with so much energy that if you don't take it, if you don't, why you do this? I didn't tell you.
So do you have any
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you
the
something.
fact that you said that it has been released?
Oh, why? I've told you this. I said 2 quarters of 2021.
You have not been able to tell me when it was released.
able
That's why I keep asking. I was hoping that your team would have updated you by now.
I will not be able to.
There's nothing to
If I tell you that it was released in August and it's not released in August, you hold me to it. But I can tell you that too.
You are supposed to know, Dennis. Again, like I said, you are the advisor.
17th. So I should tell you that I'll be able to know that.
So you should know.
Okay, so
you should know when.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Okay, carry on.
Carry on. So the fundamentals of the conversation, and in 2 minutes, there is abject poverty in Tamale, and you raised it. And then out of that, he quickly jumped in and said that these districts are not functioning. They are unable to develop because they haven't received the District Assembly Common Fund. Okay, and that is why they are so stretched, they are unable to perform and do anything.
That's a fact.
That is a complete falsehood.
Oh, isn't it a fact?
How is it a falsehood?
It's a falsehood because for the district to be able to develop, they rely on about 4 or 5 sources of funding.
Which are?
And so if one of that source of funding is outstanding, it doesn't stop the district from providing essential services. That's what the most critical. In fact, the one that he's referring as the most critical is the smallest of all the funding that comes through.
How?
That's why I've told you, and you can verify.
Why is it the smallest?
In my entire 4 years in office, if you put together all the common fund that came, 4, if you put it together, you not get 4 million.
But
because
if the government
what you are doing is so wrong. Because the average quarterly release is between 250 and 280,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, and I've just told you that money. You see the sort of project I mentioned, Brekum East is doing. Common Fund cannot execute it.
It cannot.
Common Fund cannot build a 40 unit lockable stores.
But
it's so small.
If even the districts are supposed to generate monies internally as well to support their development. I mean, in the 2022 budget, we had the finance minister say that even property rate, they were going to take it away from the district assemblies and give it to a private institution. So they would rather collect the property rate and they'll get 40%
No, they didn't say that.
No, they did.
No, that's not what they said.
The finance minister said that 40% will go to the private institution and government and the district will share the 60%.
They didn't say that.
They didn't say that.
Yes. What did they say? What the economic policy said. Oh, stop it. It says that the district assemblies are unable to collect the property, which is fact. Because there are certain things that goes into property rate collection that the district assembly don't have the capacity. For example, valuation of the properties is so expensive that very few assemblies can afford to even get valuations done before they're even able to generate the bills and collect the properties. So what the central government has decided to do is that they are going to work with the GRA. That's what the statement said. It never said private company. It said GRA. And then the GRA will take over the collection of the property rates, provide a common platform for the collection of the property rates. And then when they collect the rate, it will be given to the district assemblies less the cost and the fees that the GRA will spend in collecting that.
What's the ratio? Rate. It's 40, 30, 30.
No, I haven't seen the ratio.
It's 40, 30, 30. I have seen it.
No,
you advise the minister, you don't know.
I haven't seen it.
40% goes to the private. I've seen it. I've seen it. And that's why I'm going to tell you.
It's not in the budget.
That 40% goes to the private institution.
Which private institution? What's the name of the private institution?
30, 30 goes to government and to the district.
What's the name of the private institution? Where did you get this?
No, you
That's what I
cannot
want
ask
to
me
know.
questions.
No,
You advise the minister.
No, I'm saying what you are saying.
You advise the minister.
No, I am
You should know
asking where
this.
you saw
No,
this.
You should know this.
I am telling you that what you are saying.
There is going to be
Where?
a private collection.
Where did you find that?
Of the monies.
Where did you
but
find
they
that?
said
Where
it.
did you arrive?
Why are you
He said it
asking
where?
me?
You
You
arrived.
should
He said
know.
it where?
You should know.
He said it where?
You should know.
I haven't heard it. That's what I'm
You
asking
haven't
you.
heard
When
it.
did
And
you
you are the
arrive?
He said it
advisor.
where?
You don't know
He said
that?
it where?
You don't know that.
I want to know because the budget
Interesting. Has the
statement.
collection started,
No,
by
the
the way?
budget statement.
Has
the
the collection
budget
started?
statement that the minister read doesn't have what you are saying.
Has the
About budget
collection
statement. He's
started?
not
It doesn't
talking
have
about
it.
Has the
he's not talking
collection
about
No, but
budget
where did the minister
You
say
see,
that?
say you don't know.
No, the
Mutala,
minister.
please allow him.
It's a matter
Bella,
of
Has the
Bella,
collection
Bella,
started by
it's
the...
very
You say it's the
important.
GRA.
No, I'll come to that.
Has the
Before I
collection
respond.
started?
Before I respond to that,
Has the
I want us to
collection
educate the
started?
public. Where did you find
Has the collection
the
started? You are not the
40,
host on the show. You cannot come
No,
and
but
be
then
asking
that is not true.
questions.
No,
Then
Bella,
that
Has
is
the
not true.
collection
Then the point
started?
you're making is not true.
No, it's
Has
not about
the
the point.
collection
Master, if you do not know,
started?
Yes,
how
the
much
district
you
assemblies
say-
are collecting
how
for
much has
now.
been
The
collected
district
so far?
assemblies are
Yes,
collecting?
as we speak now, the district assemblies are collecting because
But you said the GRA is supposed to collect it.
You
The budget
see,
has been
It's in
approved.
the 2022 budget, but there's a transition phase.
Which-
There are certain mechanisms and certain processes that have to be put in place before the GRA can fully take over and collect.
So how many?
So those things.
How long are they going to take? It's a
Please.
2022 budget.
Hold on,
We're in
comrade,
March.
please.
So those things are being done. In fact,
When is
Don't
it
let
going to
him
start?
get your way.
When is it
local
gonna start?
government- In fact, the local government minister.
Mutala, please hold on.
Local government minister and I were in, I think, Tama West, TMA, and then Ashaman municipalities 3 days ago. And we realized that they've started, the GRA and the district assemblies have started working on data synchronization and all these things,
And they've started
so they
taking
can
them
the
in.
process can start. But in the interim, property owners are paying using the old system, whilst the transition also takes place. But the point is that the Minister of Finance, in reading the budget, clearly indicated that the GRA will be using a common platform in collection of the property rates at the municipalities, and then the collection will be sent back to the assemblies, less the cost of collection and fees for the assemblies to use for development. For me, as a former MC, I think it's one of the best decisions that government can take. Robella, you have no idea the level of properties you have in a place like Adenta or Medina, and yet the assemblies don't have the capacity to collect.
Why did you not also augment their capacity so that they can collect it?
Yeah, but so this
Instead
is,
of
this
moving
is,
it to...
So, you see, when they say central government is moving it, it's not like central government is taking the thing from the districts. It's a common platform that is being created so that the central government can provide that necessary capacity. Okay? Because after all, the properties are in the district, so they are going to be collected in the district.
What happens to the individual collectors who go around to collect the revenue? Within the districts, we have people who go around and collect these revenues. These are the revenue inspectors.
These would all be part of the transition arrangement. Because, for example, GRA may decide that...
Do you know this for a fact, or you're just assuming?
For a fact. The GRA may decide that, okay, if you have revenue collectors in the assembly who are collecting property rates, and we have to do physical face-to-face collection of property rates, then these people can still collect it under the current platform. Okay. Or what I know for a fact is that a lot of it is going to be digitized. Okay, generation of bills, sending of bills to the property owners, payment of these property rates and what have you. So all these things are arrangements that are going to put in place to ensure that the collection of the property rate becomes efficient and effective.
Okay.
And then the districts are able to get the needed revenue to be able to deliver
All
on
right.
their money.
Come on, please come in for me so
There's
we can
a
move on
circular
then.
that is sent round that a private entity is going to take charge of this collection. He's 60
Where's the circular?
and he's lying.
Where's the circular?
Hold on, please.
Where's the
Dennis, please allow him to speak.
No, but you should read the
No,
circular.
allow him to
Dennis,
speak.
there is so much
Allow him.
distrust the public has for politicians. What you are doing today, you are giving the public the green cards to go ahead, deepening that distrust by peddling falsehood.
But
With
where is your
Let me
truth?
finish.
No,
Let
but
me,
I will not take
let
this.
me
Where is
finish.
your truth?
Dennis,
finish.
please,
No, but why is
allow
your-
him to
Let me-
speak.
let me
When you were
finish. Let me
speaking, I
finish.
stopped him from
Dennis, let me
interjecting.
finish.
Please allow
So
him.
please.
No, but you don't make that...
Dennis,
Why is
hold
this-
on.
Dennis,
Please,
Dennis.
allow
Is he
him.
smiling?
No, I'm saying that there's so
Comrade.
much distrust.
You see he's smiling.
There's so
You see
much
this on
distrust the
purpose.
public has. And,
Okay,
and
so
Bella,
make your point.
you have given him the opportunity to peddle absolute
So
falsehood.
tell us the truth.
How have I
And get
given
away.
him the opportunity?
And get
Tell us the
away
truth.
with them.
Tell
You
us the
see,
truth.
what generated all this discussion was the fact that you talked about challenges, the level of poverty in the north, the places you visited. And I said, look, a lot of these districts, the District Assembly Common Fund is nothing to write home about.
thought you were going to tell me about the circular.
Oh, please. I
Please
want to
allow him.
expose you.
Okay,
You have been exposed
I'm
big
waiting
time
for you, I'm
today.
waiting for you.
Your people will be angry
I'm
and
waiting for
disappointed
you,
at you
I'm
this
waiting,
morning.
I'm waiting.
And
Go
I'm
to the-
saying that
go to the
we're
truth.
talking about the challenges confronting them. And I said, look, they haven't released the common fund the whole of last year. And I said, MPs, only 1 quarter was released. He said, no, that is not true. the expectation of your viewing public was that he was going to say, that, oh no, they've released. He had opportunities to speak, and I was insistent, asking him. He never answered. Only for someone to deceive him by sending him a message and say, oh, 2 quarters were released. Please, I was watching you. 2 quarters were released. And then when you ask him when they were released, oh, they were released. You see, Bella, every government, and this kind of interventions by the World Bank and IMF and European Union and others have been there. And I gave a classical example of, let's say, the water crisis in Tamale. For example, the Adenta water crisis. You may have government going in for such facilities. It comes at the beheads of those who are given. It is not at yours. Every year you have your development plan, and he knows, as former MCE, you review, there's something we call a review of the district development plan.
Yeah.
Because the districts solely rely on common fund. So they start a project, within a year they are not able to complete the project. Then they wait for the next common fund to continue. Some of these funds he's talking about are given to you for specific projects. You can't use them for administrative costs. You can't, because that is not what it is meant for. The administrative cost of the district is only done by the common fund, and if you have internal generated funds. Unfortunately, some of them barely cannot generate any funds. Now, if you have a money, a statutory funds, which government is in violation of the law for refusing to release those monies, and then you tell me, oh, that is just minute. Even if it is 1 city, that is a statutory fund. And that every year you have your development plan, you plan your district assembly development, juxtaposing that with what you are expected to release. And that is why you have a carry forward of projects. Now, at the Public Accounts Committee, we have had a lot of projects that have been abandoned in several districts, including some of the places he's talking about, because they rely on the District Assembly Common Fund. And some of them will take 4 or 5 years to be able to complete the project. And as the projects delay, what happens is that the cost of executing them also, delay and goes up. And he says, oh no, the District Assembly Common Fund is the lowest. It's about this. When you make, please, stop deceiving people. When you make such statements, the impression anybody watching this program is that apart from the District Assembly Common Fund, there is a fund available for the 160 districts. That is a lie.
How is it a lie?
Bella,
how is it a lie?
I am saying that.
It is true.
Oh, Bella, I am saying that for you to access such funds, there must be specific projects. And in any case, hold on, Bella. You see, I want you to shame me or him. And I'm challenging TV3 that after this program, I want you to do your independent verification so that this gentleman will dare not step a foot here because he knows he's lying. He knows he's lying through his state. I want you to do that and find out whether that fund is available for every district in Ghana and that every district can access. If they can access it, why are people complaining? If they can access it, why is it that none of the districts have any projects that they execute? Why? Don't they have access to that money which you claim that is available? Stop lying to the people of this country.
I'm just getting a message that says that so 2 quarters of the District Assembly's Common Fund was released in December.
So he said,
Bella, hold on. Bella, you see, Bella, let me remind him.
No, it's not a matter of shaming. It's not a matter of shaming. It is not a matter of shaming. I'm not here to shame anyone. What are you proud of? You're supposed to have released 4 quarters.
Bella, let me remind him. First of all, Bella.
Hold on, gentlemen, easy,
Bella,
please.
last year.
What is he saying again?
Bella, let me tell him.
Please, I will.
Bella, absolute ignorance. He's a former MCE. Bella, if you have your quarters that are supposed to release this year and they are not released, and next year they release, you can't describe it as a quarter release this year. Find out 2020 third and fourth quarters were not released. Don't be ignorant on this. 2020 third and fourth quarter were not released. So if they release 2020 third and fourth quarter in 2021, it is not at least for 2021. Why are you that ignorant?
Okay, so Bella.
Why are you that ignorant?
Which is a fact, because I didn't read out how much. I didn't read out how much government owed from 2019 up until 2021. So the 2 quarters that were released, is that for 2020?
So if you release them in 2020, look, our MPs come on fund. Bella, let me land. Our MPs come on fund. Our MPs come on fund.
Let him land. I'll give you more time. Don't worry.
Our MPs common fund. Do you know that 2020 last common fund, that is the fourth quarter of MPs common fund, were not released? So they released it in 2021. You can't say that 2021 they released. It is the arrears of what was not released. Don't be that ignorant.
Okay. Point me, Dennis.
All you are doing.
I am excited this morning that he has fell on his own sword.
Which sword?
Can you please, I beg you, don't do this.
Carry on, Dennis, please.
You see, and I told the viewers earlier that the confidence in which he peddles some of these things, if you don't take care, he will mislead you. Now, the crux of this whole conversation was when he said the whole of last year, not even a single common fund was released.
But that's a fact.
Please. Hold on. Okay, carry on.
Please. First of all, you'd realize
he's
that
explained
you
what
realize
he's
that
saying.
he's now explaining after he's been
If
exposed.
you release,
You realize that.
but he's saying, Dennis, hold on. That if you've delayed the release for 2020 and even 2019,
Bella,
and you release it in 2021,
we are not kids on this show, and they are not kids watching us. Let me tell you something. When Honorable Murtala Mohammed spoke, the emphatic comment he made was that the whole of 2021, not a single common fund. He didn't say
Of course.
Please, don't interrupt me.
But
that's
wrong
a
to
fact.
say
He's
that?
wrong. He lied. He lied.
How did he lie?
And no, he lied to the extent that when I told him that, listen, there were 2 quarters released last year.
So
he
he asked
said, can you please? He said that is not true.
But you said the 2 quarters were for 2021.
Did
right?
I say that?
Did you? That's what I'm asking you.
I never said that.
So what did you mean?
Well,
What did you mean?
Oh,
What did you
what did
mean
you
then? Did you mean that
It was for
so they had
2020.
released it for 2020?
You see, you'd realize that in our conversation, there is nowhere that I denied that we had arrears when it comes to the common fund. In fact, to the point that when you asked me about why it hasn't gone, I told you I wasn't the finance minister.
Okay.
So it is established that there is arrears. The local government minister, the finance minister, even last week was in parliament or so to respond to a question on that. Now, the falsehood and the lie that you put this morning on this TV channel and tried to deceive the entire public, even when I was sitting here and I corrected him, was when he
What
tried
did you
to
correct
tell
him?
the people.
But Dennis,
listen, Bella, I will not allow you.
to be fair, you
Murtala
cannot tell
to
me you not
deceive
allow me.
the viewers.
You are not
He
the one
told
going
us
to
that-
determine.
he
I'm
told us
sorry.
that-
He's even
I'm sorry.
lying to the
Listen,
public.
listen, Dennis,
You are
hold
lying
on.
to the public.
Hold
Are
on.
you going
Hold
to tell
on.
him to keep
Hold
quiet?
on. Then, comrade, please hold on.
And he's laughing.
Now,
You see why
if
he
you
does
pay
that, then
carry
you're
lying.
forward,
You know
hold
you're
on.
lying.
No.
What he meant was that the whole of last year you had not
He
released.
never said that.
Wait.
That is not what. Are you interpreting what he said?
Dennis, hold on.
Are you interpreting what he
He said
said?
that 2021
He
you
never
have
said
not
that.
paid.
Yes.
You
That is
have
what he
not
said.
paid.
That is
So
what
if
he said.
you say that you released 2 quarters, that's what I'm asking you now. So
Was
those
it
2
It's
quarters,
2021.
was it for 2021 or it was for the arrears that you owed in 2020?
Was it the arrears of
So what
2020?
happens to the arrears in
Arrears of
2020?
So let's respond to that. But
What
let's
happens?
establish-
Okay.
No, please.
So you have
please.
said for a fact
No,
that
no.
what was
What you
released.
need to
I just
accept-
asked you now,
Relax.
and you said
Bella,
it's for 2021,
Get
right?
Fund doesn't list
Comrade,
arrears.
comrade, hold on.
They don't
please.
list arrears.
Comrade, hold on. No,
Before
no,
releasing the
allow
arrears
him.
that they were
Allow
supposed to. They
him.
released the arrears
Bella.
Dennis,
before
hold
they
on.
released the
What
next
was
one.
released?
Let me establish.
Comrade, I've turned off
let me
your mic,
establish-
please.
let me
What was
establish-
released?
let
The
me
2 that were
establish-
released.
let me
Is it for
establish-
2021?
Let me establish the following facts. One, Honorable Murtala Mohammed lied with confidence that no common fund was released in
But that is a
2021.
fact.
He's never said.
But that is a
Are you
fact.
going to stop
Comrade,
him?
comrade. No,
Note
you
it.
can't tell me what to
Oh, I
do.
should note it.
Carry on, by the
I
way.
should note it.
Because I asked you a question.
He
I
never
need
said.
you.
He never.
I need
I'm
you to
responding to your
respond to
question. I'm
that.
responding.
Okay.
He never said that. Oh, in 2021, the 2020 common fund was not released, or the 2021 common fund was not released. That's not what he said. He tried to deceive the public.
I said the whole
that
of last
the
year,
whole of last year,
not a
no
single quarter
common
was
fund.
released.
Yes, and I'm
But was
telling
any
you
quarter
that
released last year?
in December last year, which
Oh,
you
you
have
now know the
confirmed,
date now.
which you have confirmed the date, you have confirmed the date. 2 quarters
Of
of
which one?
2021
Of
was
which one?
released. So that fact, that lie has been corrected.
So
on-
was
on
it released
Saturday.
for 2021?
Yes,
So what
2021.
about 2020?
2020
They are
And what
in
about
arrears. They are in
2019?
arrears.
So you have not paid
Yes,
those.
those are in
No,
arrears.
but then if you release 2 quarters, does that not make up for the
Bella,
arrears so
Bella,
that
you
now
see,
you
you
start
are- when you are
afresh?
exposed.
When you are releasing,
Bella, he's been
Comrade,
exposed.
comrade,
Do
comrade.
you know there's
Comrade, no, please.
I can understand his
Dennis,
agitations.
carry on.
No, you have been exposed.
Because he lied on TV.
So
You have been
you still owe
exposed.
2020 and 2019?
You see, let me tell you something. Even when we took office in 2017, the government owed the Dish Assemblies 2016 and 2015 2 quarters.
That's not true.
Oh,
Carry
That's
on.
another lie.
If you are you make your statement.
Right, you see,
make
you-
your statement,
you say
Dennis.
it with confidence and then
Dennis,
you'll be
I would
exposed.
Dennis,
expose
make
you.
your
So,
statement.
so as we sit on set today, I just don't want to go back and forth. I just want to correct the impression. He lied that not a single quarter of common fund was released.
But
in
that is a
2021.
fact.
It is a lie. You have confirmed
It's a
right
fact.
now that 2 quarters.
But that's what I'm asking you. And you are saying that it was for 2021. So you still owe for 2020. Is that what you're saying?
But 2 quarters. But it defeats the point.
Comrade, hold on. So you still owe for 2020?
Yes, but
And 2019?
Yes.
But
No,
how do you
2019.
pay?
No.
How do you pay 2021
Bella,
and you don't
See,
pay
when you do this-
2020?
When you do this, you don't help your viewers.
How don't I help? I'm asking
Let's
questions.
take it systematically.
But that's what I'm doing.
You have corrected. Do you accept that?
But do you owe 2020?
No, do you accept that? Before
Do
you
you
come
owe owe for 2020?
What sort of
Bella, do you know the point I was trying? Bella, the point I
Do
was
you
trying to
owe
make.
for 2020?
I have answered that already.
You do.
I am telling you that, please.
But how do you pay for 2021 when you still owe for
How
2020?
do we-
Why did you not pay those
It's
ones
the calculation of 2020,
Bella, are you
which
going
was
to
even
allow me
paid.
to? Are you going to allow me to?
There's a
speak on your
calculation.
I'm
What
asking
was
you
paid
questions.
was for 2020,
Comrade, hold on.
not 2021. That is single
am
point.
Comrade,
telling you-
please.
I am telling you that Honorable Member of Parliament tried to create an impression on this set today that in 2021, not a single
That is
quarter
a fact.
of common fund
That
was
is
released.
a fact.
Comrade, please.
And when he said that, he didn't qualify it.
Must I qualify it?
In fact, if you had not come in with all your expertise to correct that impression, a lot of your viewers would have left today thinking that the whole of 2021,
But you didn't
these
pay.
assemblies didn't receive a single common
You
fund.
didn't pay.
Do you understand? So in all fairness, it is important that you let him show remorse, that he lied to the viewers, and that indeed 2 quarters was released.
Okay.
Now,
Bella,
it is
Okay, hold on, comrade. Please, hold on.
Is lying.
No,
Okay, you
no,
finish,
hold
I'll
on.
come.
You are still using
So-
the
so
word lie.
my
You're
point
lying.
again
You're
is-
supposed big time.
my
Lie
point
big-
again.
big time, you don't know.
My point again is,
moving
why
on
do
from
you
his-
pay 2021 when
moving-
you haven't paid 2020?
Moving on from his
Then it's
Answer
a
the
question.
Oh, it happens all the time. I've given you a
That
scenario.
you skip payments
It
and pay
happens all
another
the
year?
time. I've given you the scenario. I told you that when we came to office in 2017, yeah, you can verify.
So when will you pay 2020?
You can go to the district assembly. I said I'm not the finance minister. You can
Bella,
ask me.
Bella.
The local
But you
government
are the
minister.
advisor.
The local government ministry only disburses what
Bella,
has been received from the
Bella.
finance ministry.
Bella, do you know common
Okay.
fund is not
You
a fixed
understand?
amount of
The
money?
local government
hold on,
ministry.
comrade.
The local government ministry. They only disburse what has been received from
How
the
do they
finance
disburse
ministry.
it?
Okay.
So you can ask the local government
How do
ministry.
they disburse it?
Why they haven't transferred monies from the finance ministry to the local government ministry?
Bella, do you
For
know
them to
it's not a
disburse
fixed amount
I
of
see.
money?
to
Do
the
you know it's not a
assembly.
fixed
Okay,
amount of
okay,
money?
okay.
Do you know it's not a fixed amount
Hold
of
on.
money?
Come
that
here, let
is
him
released?
land.
So
Let him
now
land.
that is established.
Which is
that
established.
even
You are
he-
lying to the
even
people
he
of
as an
this
MP,
country.
he received 2 common fund. He
Which
received
one?
2.
Which
Two.
one?
2 quarters. He
So,
received 2
so
quarters.
there's some
which one?
700 million that was owed for 2019 per the Auditor General's report for
was-
District Assembly Common Fund.
which
And then
quarters?
2020 as well, 587
So the
million.
arrears.
So those are arrears
So
that you are
so
yet to pay.
Yes, so the arrears.
Bella,
so
do
the
you know-
arrears.
do you- how-
And you skip that
Bella,
and
which
paid.
It happens all the time.
Bella, the
It
figures-
happens all the time,
figures
and it's
you
normal.
quoted-
Happens all the
Bella,
time.
the-
It's normal.
Bella.
But you will
It
pay
happens.
eventually.
Bella, no,
Yes.
the figures you
In
quoted.
fact,
But that's,
you know what?
that's
You know what? You know what?
developments
Bella,
delayed.
Bella, the
But
figures you
it will be
quoted.
paid.
Hold on, please.
It is
Comrade.
lying to your viewing public.
Hold on. Comrade, I'll let you speak.
You are ranting. Oh, you've lied.
you
Then it's
finish.
hold on.
You
But
will
that's
be
developments
exposed.
delayed.
Say again.
Now, whatever it is that they could have developed at that time, inflation would have caught up
Yes.
with it. So this 587 million for
You know-
2020,
you know what? You know-
they might even require more than that.
In all sincerity, it's for me, nobody accepts that the releases of common funds should delay. Because I agree with you. Once it's delaying, it's affecting a lot of things at the district. For example, those that are common fund committed activities. So if there's a project that you started maybe in August 2020 and it was funded through common fund and it's delayed, it means that the inflation will catch up with it. Along the line, you have to do variations and it will increase the cost. No doubt about that.
Okay.
No doubt.
All
no
right.
doubt about that. But, you know, irrespective of all these challenges, it's important that when we come on TV and we are putting out the facts, we do not attempt to deceive the public.
Okay.
If this, you have
Point
not
made.
intervened this morning,
Point
you would
made.
have lied to us.
Point
and made the
made.
viewers feel
Thank
that
you very much,
nobody
Dennis.
was
First and
Comrade.
foremost.
He spoke first,
Oh,
so if you finish, I'll finish.
Bella, first and
I am
foremost.
supposed to
Bella,
finish.
Dennis,
Bella,
hold
first
on.
and foremost, Olga says there are 3 sides to every story. Your side, my side, and the truth. I want to expose his lies. Common fund is not a fixed amount of money that comes to this.
Who has said that?
Oh, please, please. The calculation is based on the revenue generated. So if a district, for example, Medina, was supposed to get 70,000 Ghana cedis in 2020, it wasn't released. Maybe the third quarter 2020, fourth quarter, 100,000 Ghana cedis, it wasn't released. So 2021, government would have to pay the 70,000 and the 100,000. That is the arrears for 2020. That is what must be paid first.
Okay.
So if
You are
in
the finance
hold on, you don't know it and you are not humble enough to learn. So
You are
if
the
in
finance
2021, let's say first quarter in 2021, government Medina was supposed to get 200,000 Ghana cedis. if government is paying 60,000 Ghana cedis for the third quarter of 2021, you can't say that they have, because they have paid it in 2020, because they have paid it in 2020, it means that they have paid that of 2020 and the 2021 and 2020 is in arrears.
But he said that's what happens all the
No,
time.
I am saying that they have to pay the arrears first.
You are not the finance minister. You don't determine what is paid and what is not.
The law is very clear.
You are not the finance minister.
Look,
You are not
the
the
law
finance
is very clear. Until they pay the one in arrears, they won't pay the one that is present. Get that very, very clearly. So please.
And he does it with
Oh,
confidence.
please. I am saying that, and Bella, I want you. That's
Verify,
why I challenge
verify,
you.
yes, verify.
If he's
the same way you expose him on the other one.
Dennis.
Please, he has just admitted. And you know what he's doing?
But
He's
you
doing
admit
it
the
for
other
his
one.
party.
You
So
admit
just
the
say,
other one.
Dennis, but you are embarrassing yourself the more. This is an intellectual discourse, which I find it very difficult to grasp. If you have an area, the calculation is determined based on the revenue generated. So if in the calculation, Medina district is supposed to get, in, let's say 2020 third quarter, they are supposed to get 100,000. Fourth quarter, 100,000. So that is areas of what? 200,000.
Yeah.
So 100,000 each. So in 2021, if government gives Medina 100,000, that another 100,000. So the 200,000 represents what government owes Medina district or assembly for the 2 quarters of 2020. You can't sit here and you say you have to pay and wait. That is the most ignorant way and uninformed way of analyzing it. And I'll tell him that be humble to learn. So what he does is that he does that and says, oh, Mutala lives on TV so that it becomes something that they show on their platform. So I want him, I want you to verify.
He wants to have the last word.
What was paid in 2020?
2 quarters.
Oh, hold on.
He says it was for 2021.
Bella, what was paid? Bella, you see MPs.
You said nothing was paid.
I want to project something quickly so we can go.
You said nothing was paid.
When I told you that we received 1 quarter in 20...
2 quarters is what you received.
Hold on.
Okay.
When I say we received 1 quarter, I also told you that 2020 last quarter of MPs were not paid.
You received 2
But why
quarters.
didn't I say 2 quarters?
You received 2 quarters. 2.
All right.
You are just
And you
being
doesn't
ignorant.
you do
So it was
You are doing it. You are doing it
2020
for
last
people.
quarter.
No,
Okay.
that's not true.
No worries.
Don't accept
Let me
this
just put this up.
confident
So
lie.
there's
That's
some
not
people who are putting out
excusing yourself,
you
some
are.
facts.
You are.
This
You
one
are.
says,
You are jumping.
good morning,
Very
Bella.
funny.
You are right about private
very,
companies
very
collecting the
funny. You should
property
have done
rate.
that.
On a more serious
Dennis, are you
note,
listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
This is for you.
You see?
This one says, good morning, Bella. You're right about private companies collecting the property rates. Example is the Crowell Municipal Assembly. It's Shelter Mart Limited that collected the property rates. And then another
Bella,
one
you're wrong.
also sent. Well, these are messages that are coming
but
in
that's not correct.
with screenshots of the payment.
Let me do education.
Okay.
Let me do education.
All right.
You know when you say
Let's take a look at it, by
Yes,
the way.
let
It's
me
on the
do-
screen.
let me do education.
So if we can just put it out
Let me
there.
do-
So
let me
this
do-
is one of them. In fact, this is the Crowell Municipal
So,
Assembly.
Let me do education.
Shelter Mart Limited Property Rates Bill.
You've been exposed.
And the number is
People are
also there,
exposing
so
you
you
the
can
more.
call
Please,
and
People are
verify,
exposing you the more.
just to be sure. But this,
let me-
people are
some
exposing you the more.
357.80 Ghana
let me
cedis
do
was
education.
paid.
You see?
It's
Okay.
important that your viewers
What
get-
important?
It expires
You've
on
been
31st
exposed.
December
You've been
20.
exposed.
Look,
Stop it.
it expires
Would
on
you stop
31st
what?
December 2022,
let me
by the
do
way.
Are you challenging
It's
someone?
important that the viewers
Okay.
are well educated and informed of your
Okay.
Now, this is the existing practice across the country. For some districts who are collecting, currently, as it stands now, before the 2022 budget, these assemblies collect their own property rates.
Yeah.
And so for some districts, they outsource it to private people.
With what right?
It
What
is
authority?
based on
With
that.
what
No,
authority?
the assemblies have the authority to do
Who
that.
gave them the
No,
authority?
they have.
Who gave them the authority?
Okay, comrade, we have to
You
go.
make it very difficult. You make it very difficult. Now, so for example, in my district, latter part, we are
Please
sourced
be sending
to
those,
Dexter.
those text
Now,
messages.
it is based on these things. It is based on things like this that the government of Ghana has decided to step in and said that we cannot allow the district assemblies to, in their struggle, engage in such practices, and yet they are unable to even derive what they are deriving.
But
They are
on
supposed
what
to derive.
right did they have?
So
Because
this
they
is
have
not-
they have district
Approving
revenue
the budget.
inspectors
But
who
let me-
should collect it. At
Let
what
me
point and who
educate-
gave
let
them
me
the
do
right
that.
to
They have
privatize
the
it?
right.
Informing the public.
Should there not be
District
legislation to
assemblies-
support
no,
it?
district, that's why education is important.
Which
district
education?
assemblies, district assemblies as it stands now, until the central government policy has the right through their district assemblies, assemblymen,
Oh, it's
to
a carte
determine,
blanche. That right is
to
a-
determine
it's a carte blanche.
which private sector person they can engage to collect.
And this is
now, as it stands now,
this is included in Act
in the-
936.
Yes, it's in that 936. It's
That's
there.
they can what?
They can outsource.
Which portion exactly?
You want me to? I cannot quote the clause for you, but it's in the act. They can outsource. They have the power.
That they can outsource.
Yes, they can outsource.
Okay.
But what I am saying is that this is
They
not.
said they can collaborate with other assemblies.
They can outsource.
for development.
They can outsource. They can.
Shelter Mart is not an assembly.
I am. Oh, Bella.
It's
I
a
am
private
telling you that
entity.
they can outsource.
But you
Okay.
just said here
All
that
right.
No, but
GRE
please
you just
Land
said
on
that
this for me,
GRE
please. Land on
you
this.
just said
Okay.
on this program
This
that
Land
is
on this,
not
comrade.
what you are seeing from Krowo. It is not the central government arrangement with GRE. Like I told you, that hasn't kick-started yet.
Bella.
And I told
But the
you
local
that.
government minister even said it was going to kickstart in January
No,
this
but
year.
I'm telling you that it hasn't kick-started yet.
But he said
But he
didn't
said
know.
it will
But
start
he
in
said-
January this year.
He said on
Bella,
this program
you
he
need
didn't
to
know when you
help
asked
your
him.
viewers. What you have put on air, on TV, is not what the
Bella, he
it's
said
not
yeah,
the
he didn't
system.
know.
It's not.
It's what the system
So
that
which one is in the system?
GRA is coming to put in place.
Okay.
So
Which one is in the
educate
system?
your viewers as such. That's
Which
So,
one is
so
in
when
the
GRA
system?
comes, Shelter Mart will go,
They
right?
will go.
They will go.
In fact,
And
some of
GRA
the-
will now
in fact,
collect.
some of the districts were in Ashaman 3 days ago, and the MCE said that they have even already abrogated their contract
Okay.
with their private
Bella.
collector.
All right,
Bella,
all
I
right.
know when
Points
you go off
made.
air.
We have to go.
I know when you
Gentlemen,
go off air, he would
we
make
have to go.
admissions.
Thank you so much.
And I will
Comrade
urge your
Murtala
people-
Mohammed
I
is
will
the
urge your
MP
people
for
to
Tamale
videotape it.
You have
Central,
learned this
and
time.
also
You're
Dennis
behind you.
Miracles Abuaje is
You're behind
a
you.
presidential
You're
staffer
behind
at the
you.
moment, and he advises on local governance
they are laughing at
and
you.
all of that. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Big thank you to Sheila Bonsu, as usual, for styling me. It's Ghana month, and so we're rocking African Prince all throughout the month. Keep watching. This is TV3 Newday. We have more coming up right here on the show.
You like